Hi friends, I'm Colonel Failure. Welcome back to the Car Mechanics Simulator, and I'm in my warehouse. I've got a warehouse now. Yeah, it's good. Look at it. It's full of shelves. I imagine there is stuff on the shelf. I wasn't certain, but I thought I'd have a look. Lots of odds and ends, including lots of bits and pieces like spare front drive shafts that I've just acquired from going down the tip. Yeah, no, I've got lots of sort of random gubbins going on here. It's not interesting. Right, anyway, well, look, bundle out the door. You'll see we've spruced up the joint a little bit. We've got the panel repair kind of bit. We've got the engine stand thing. I've got two, beg your pardon, there, sink. The sink got a little bit rowdy. I've got a welding rig, couple of these chaps. Go out the front. This is the back. Oh, flaming heck. I've got the Rando Scavenger upgrade pod effort malarkey. Yeah, okay. I'll freely admit that I've been doing a couple of bits and pieces. I wanted to get to level 10, which is where I am, because level 10 means I can go and visit a barn. Before we toddle off, I thought we'd have a quick look at what's going on the old progress leaderboard here. We've got some repair, renovation type caper stuff going on. That's the one we want. Well, we want more than that, to be honest. But that's one that I'm chasing after. We're doing okay on everything else. But then if we look at the garage, I've unlocked a bunch of, odds and ends, and then I've added the lifter. What we don't have is the customization. Couldn't be bothered with that yet. Paint shop, haven't done that because that's quite expensive. The test path and the dyno, haven't got those either because they're expensive, and we're not ready yet. But I've spun off a couple of cars. For those who were saying that just go and pick up a wreck, knock the dents out of it and give it a wash, and you turn a decent profit. The answer is yes, you do. However, it makes raiding the junkyard more difficult because they'll have fewer cars in. So you've got to go sparing. Go sparing with that. Anyway, I've got 43 grand, and we're going to a barn, and we're going to clean it out. Barn, no locations available. Well, that's clearly not true. No, I've got to click on barn map. Barn map. Map of barn. Barn map. Barn map. There we go. Do you want to add it to the list? Yeah, we'll do this one. There we go. Right, let's try that again, shall we? Yes, map. Oh, why don't we go to a barn? That's a super idea. This is what I like about barns in this, is it doesn't give you any spoilers from the get-go. It's like they've thought it through. They've gone like, well, we could show them the special thing that they're about to find, but no, I don't think we will. Right, we're going to let's. No. Let's go straight to the main event, if there is one. Oh, hello. Yeah, and I tell you something else. This is in good nick. What have we got under here? Okay, well, I can see a couple of bits are missing. For starters, let's just give it a quick poke. It's got 4 wheels. That's always a good place to start. Now, someone suggested that you could make a fair amount of money just by doing the experience, not money. Make a fair amount of experience just by doing this investigation palaver on every vehicle in the junkyard and level up quite quickly. And you kind of go, yeah, but there are levels of quite quickly that one is prepared to live through. Now, if you were to maximum level up your ascertain where the problems lie skill, then yes, this would go a bit quicker. But at the same time, it's not compelling. You've got to really want it. I mean, I suppose you've got a 5-year-old in the house and you just kind of go, all I need you to do, Timmy, is go to each of these cars. Yes, Dad. And then click on them like this. Okay. And then do it until you've filled in all the numbers. And then give me a shout. When that's done, I'm going downstairs to watch the cricket. I mean, that could work for you, but I don't think it's going to be what's known as making memories, other than bad ones. It's the kind of thing that might end up with a call to child line. Anyway, that's a winner. I want it. How much are you going to flog me that for? 15 large. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. 15 grand. It's not unreasonable. The car's pretty much intact. I'm not entirely sure if the windows are any copper or not, but who knows? And then what else we got? We got one of these. Oh, and that's something a little bit more zesty over there as well. It looks like we're not going to be able to get them all. Hang on, wait. Let's do the investigation. I mean, look, I'm quite prepared to sit here for hours doing. I'm not. No, hang on, I'm changing my plea. I'm not prepared to sit here for hours just doing this in order to soak up a little bit of XP. Tearing cars apart and putting them together again will get you the XP that you so richly deserve. The only thing I do think that should earn you XP is repairing stuff, especially now it's got a little mini game associated with it. It should give you a point's worth of XP every time you repair something. That's just me. And it's only because there's an arbitrary grind in the game to endeavour to keep you playing it for longer. Don't make me play it longer. Make me play it in a way that I'm going to enjoy. That's all I'd say about that. We've got a bit of exhaust missing, quite clearly. But we can look at the bits that are there. The engine, yeah. I'm not gonna poke that anymore. Anyway, what's the... come on, there you go. Reappear. What's the damage on this one? Yeah. It's a Nissan Fairlady. Yeah. No, tasteful. 26 grand. I mean, it's going to flip for more, but at the same time, 26 grand's a lot of investment up front. But this bad boy is. I'm all about this. This is right up my Strasse. A Luxor Bowen. Yeah, 18 grand. So 19k for that, and another 16 for the other one will take me to 34. I can't have all three. And I'll be honest with you, as much as some people may declare it heresy, I'm not that interested in the Fairlady. It doesn't do anything for me. But this one, totally, it's just a big old car. I like that, so I'll have that one. Plus, it's missing a wheel. Who's got that kind of time? Let's poke it around here. There we go. And this one's a bit more, vroom vroom, and that's good too. Yeah. Right, yep. I'll have you as well. Smashing. Stick it in the garage. Job's a good one. Right, I'm going to clean this place out because for the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to be doing this kind of behaviour. Right, I'm about ready to head back to the old homestead here. I pick up a lot of rubbish from these places, but I found an i6 gearbox with 93% on it for 700 quid. That'll do. That's good. And then it's a case of bits that I can pick up and stuff that's going to come in handy later. Probably. Could happen. Cheaper than Bandit rear tail light. See? 97% on that. That's not bad at all. There's a couple of bits that I can fix up, but for some reason I've got myself a couple of oil pans. Just for reasons. I can fix up a bottom suspension arm, you see. I've got no problem with that. Timing cover I think I can do as well. Which is why I've picked those up. But we also got a magic box, which is potentially full of joy and wisdom. We're getting this for 1,700 quid, which will leave me a shade over 7 grand. It's okay. I can take it. I can make that work. I'm sure of it. Right then, which one of you lovely ladies wants to come with me first? I think we'll take this. Look, it's a bit on the dusty side, obviously, but I think it's quite handsome. Right, move you onto. You can go car lift A, and that should do nicely. Now, I mean, what I should do is I should give it a wash. Tell you what, go to car wash. I've changed my mind. Get yourself up the car wash, and what I particularly like about that is it takes me there as well, which is even better. Wash that car. There we go. Then we can get a good feel for actually what sort of nick is it in. And, oh, it's in really good nick. Yeah. It's actually, the bodywork's in great condition. Yeah, do the inside as well. Alright, okay. We might be able to spin it for a profit now, actually, just after having washed it. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I can make 3 grand profit on it now. Well, crikey. That's good. I'm not ready for that yet, though. I mean, I think we'll take the engine apart at least and put that back together. We might as well make it run. In fact, I'm not even entirely. I doubt very much it runs. I very much doubt that it runs, given that it's probably missing a few bits. Let's have a no. That's just details. No, here you go. Look, here's some details. And yeah, you see, we've got lots of question marks going on there that I need to investigate. And then I imagine some of those parts are also missing. Yes. 50% though, that's not bad. We can spin this for quite a decent amount of cash. Right, let's get you over on car lift A. Don't know whether I'm going to get a donor car for this one or not. But it's going to be a... Well, I mean, now's the time where you have a think about, are we going to do a full resto on this? I haven't got the cash for that. I would rather do a resto on that big number that we got parked outside and use this just to kind of fuel the cash needed to make that happen. The block is obviously a mess. That much is evident. Can we don't need to examine it again. Is there anything obvious missing? Yeah, you're missing a couple of bits of both your exhausts. Yes, but we've got all the big stuffs here. You need there's a fuel filter missing from there. Is that fuel filter? Yes, the fuel filter that's there. You sure? I thought the fuel filter was up there. It is the fuel filter's up there. What goes in there? Pump! Fuel pump! There you are. That's the one that goes in there. Got there eventually. That hasn't got a cover on it. Yeah. You haven't got covers over the top of your rocker arms? No. On either side? Yeah. Okay, so there's some odds and ends that are going to be required in order to make this a runner. And by doing so, there's gold in them there hills. So are we taking it apart or what? Yeah, we are. Okay, right. Let's do the essentials first. The important thing about the essentials, of course, is that they're essential, and that means we've got to drain it of its vital fluids. So we'll get on with that. Although it's quite possible there aren't. And oh no, there was a dribble of vital fluid in there. That's good to see. Yeah, you go home. Right, I'm going to start taking all this lot apart, and I'll join you shortly when I've done quite a lot of that. I say quite a lot, of course, but actually, I heard someone say in an episode not so long ago that actually they'd quite like to see the entire journey, and you go, well, it's more for you, but okay, I can certainly do that, and here we are, just dismantling. Everything's covered in rust, but if I go and smack it all about a bit, then we'll see where we're at. Suspension is not really a challenge these days. Suspension, I can pretty much put it together without too much hassle. Although these flipping double wishbone shock absorbers on the front, they're a bit of a hassle. But it still gets the job done. Right, come on, out you come. That's going to need taking out and pulling apart and buying new parts and putting back together again. Although I'm pretty certain that they've made the process of taking shock absorbers apart, they've made it quicker than it was in the previous game. Because in the previous game, it always felt like you were hanging around. But now, not quite so much. So that's okay. And there's another part of me that kind of goes, you know what? There's a difficult mode in this that doesn't highlight anything. And you're already reaching a stage where some of this is becoming just a little bit routine, and therefore wouldn't it have been more fun to go with the hard modes and actually get proficient at knowing where all of these virtual car parts are? And you're kind of going, yeah, well, maybe, but at the same time, maybe not. I don't know. It's a hard one to judge, and it reminds me very much of I think it's probably the second baseball game that I ever played in earnest. First baseball game I played, in an ongoing and relatively serious fashion. That was back on, what would I have played that on? I think that was on the BBC. For those outside the UK, the BBC B was a home computer in the early 80s, and I was lucky enough to have one of those. And there was I can't for the life of me remember it, but there was a baseball game on it, and I loved it. I knew only the scantest of things about the baseball game, but it was fundamentally a timing challenge. You played 4 games against an opponent, but it was a timing challenge more than anything else, and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, the second game that I played in earnest was on the Sega Saturn. Why did I have a Saturn? Well, I'm glad you asked. See, I was just moving off the Amiga, or the Amiga was still on the go, but the number of games available for it were getting few and far between, and therefore I went, you know what, I'm going to get a console. And the 2 consoles that were out at the time they hadn't really bedded in yet. And one was a console by a manufacturer called Sony, who made Walkmans and the occasional television. And the other one was by a manufacturer called Sega, who had made the Mega Drive, which was a fine piece of kit with all the best games on it. And I went like, well, I'm not having something by some untested flipping manufacturer of televisions. No, sir, I'll have one by Sega, because they know what's up, and it's video games. Anyway, I've played a game on that, and I decided early on that I was going to play the full 168 whatever it was game season, and I took the decision. This is about to become pertinent, and I took the decision at that point to put it on the hardest difficulty level before I'd played a single game. I was going, what? Why? Why would you do that to yourself? Because my logic was that by the time you get, a little way in, you'll have got the fundamentals down. What you don't want is to be getting halfway through the season and finding that actually you were bored with it because it was way too easy. And if you're going to play that many games, then there was the risk that it becomes a little bit easy by that stage. And I went, oh yeah, okay, all right, I'll do that. And sure enough, first 30 or so games didn't even get a hit. It was not pretty. And then all of a sudden it sort of clicked, and then the timing started to make sense for me. And by the halfway point in the season, I was so far ahead in my pennant race. I was playing as the Cubs, and why the Cubs? Simple, Brewster's Millions. So I was playing as the Cubs, and by halfway through the season, I was leading absolutely everything. Half my team got called up to go to the All-Star game. I mean, it was embarrassing, frankly, for the rest of the league, and this was on the toughest difficulty. So to tie that back into to a bit of the car mechanics, if your intent is going to be, I'm going to play a lot of this, then why not start out at the most difficult? Because then by the time you're over the learning curve, you're over the learning curve. And, so the learning curve's a little bit longer because it's not highlighting parts for you and so forth. So what? By the time it matters, it's all good. But if you're planning on going to max level, why not? I say. There you go. That's it. That's the only moral to this story. I haven't got any more for you than that. Apparently you wanted to sit around while I just took the car apart. Well, I mean, that's probably going to mean this is going to be a 2-part episode, because I try and keep these to a digestible level of, in the region of 30 minutes or under is my target. That's not a me target, that's a you target, you see, because by and large people only watch, between 15 and 20 minutes is where my average tends to come out. And now obviously that's offset by people who jump in at the start of the video and then bug out straight away. I can understand those people. That's fine. I'm not for everybody. Some find it a little bit slow going and maybe a little bit wordy, and that's fine. There's nowhere near enough explosions for some of these attention deficit people, and that's okay. There are plenty of channels that do the explosions and all that business, and the fruity language and all of that. Ha ha ha. But no, not me. I quite like the slow and lugubrious. Lugubrious? It's not quite right, but I'll sit with it. More languid. That's a better word. A more languid playthrough that facilitates, just a bit of doing this. I mean, as I mentioned on the very first run on this, I play this by and large to just chill out. Because it's a good chill out kind of a game. I think we're about there on undercar. Oh no, oil filter. You have drained the oil. It's too late now. Yeah, I did. Remember, it had a little sticky dribble for us. That's nice. Good. Okay, right. That's the undercarriage off, and down she goes. Do you want to stick that? Do you want to stick the lump on the crane? You know what? I just might. Yeah, stick the lump on the crane. Let's get the lump on the crane. Where's the crane? Here's the crane. I don't know where stuff lives yet. I haven't used it often enough. That's a shock absorber puller. It's, in my defence, it's the same colour. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Right, you carry on with that. Yeah, I'm just leaving it on. So, see, look, here it is. It's the same machine. It's just bigger. And it's a crane. Yeah. But, I mean, you know, who's really counting? Right, good. You, yes, talk to it, and hoik. First, remove the gear. Oh, phooey, I forgot to take out the gearbox. Okay, all right, no, that's all right. No, that's good. That's good. We're done with this? Yeah, thank you. Right, sling another one on there. Separate that lot. There you go, carry on. All right, under we go. Gearbox off. I don't think I've got a straight replacement for a straight V8 on this one. I think this is going to have to either be a replacement or a fix-it job. Well, a fix-it job, I think this is a little beyond my capabilities, given that I don't think I can even fix a flipping flywheel yet. I ain't got the gubbins skill. That's the fella. Yeah, no, I haven't got that in the slightest. No. Right. Okay. So yeah. No. This is. I think we'll do one part will be tear down and a little bit of part fixer uppy type stuff. You whipping that out now? No, it won't let me. Okay. Is it going to let me do anything else? I thought you were taking the block out. I am taking the block out. All right. Down sails. Thank you. And no, you've got to cancel it and then do it after it's finished doing the job. All right. Whip the block out. Okay, and then what do you want to do with it? I want to move it to... No, you don't need to do that. Oh, okay. No, hold on. What you do then is you go over to your engine work stand, and we install the engine on the stand. What did you just take out? Because you appear to have quite a few engines going on here. I'm pretty sure it's this i6. Are you sure? No. No, I didn't think you were. No, it's not. It wasn't an i6. It was a V8. You fool. You even said that it was a V8 a couple of minutes ago. Not even a couple of minutes ago. Well, it's not that one. No, there's quite a lot missing from that. All right, take that off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, you should pay attention to this stuff, right? You'd save yourself a lot more time if you were to do so. It's just details. Which one did I do? I don't know. Try this one. Ah, there we go. That one's got stuff on it. And most of the stuff is broken. That's how you know it's the right one. Okay, right, let's get to work. Right, 1 times air filter, broken. An air filter base, broken. 4 barrel carb. I mean, looking at it, I'd say it's seen better days. 26% to you, Gov. All right, 1 intake manifolds. I might have a spare one of these, you know. I think I'll pick one up from the junkyard. We'll have to have a look. Obviously, am I missing a bolt here somewhere? Yeah. All right. Hose it. All right. Thank you. Good. Take the dizzy off. Oh yeah, I know all the lingo. Me. Well, but weirdly, distributor was one of the first things that I learned any significant amount about. Because I was driving a VW camper, Type 2, 1972 VW camper. So bay window, not a splitty. And it didn't have what you might call anti-theft measures, other than the fact that you would have to be, intent on being unsubtle if you were going to nick it. So a friend of mine taught me how to take the distributor out. Except you don't. You just take the rotor arm out of the distributor and then all's well. I'm not sure that that's good for it, but it's not going anywhere if it hasn't got a distributor. So, it was a lesson well learned, and from that point on, I learned about such things. Well, that's the extent of me learning, but I did it anyway. Go, okay, good way to immobilise the 1972 VW camper. Sweet. Yeah, it's well worth the time. Push rods. Yeah, I know. Yeah. You should be able to take them out quicker than this. Think of the XP, man. All right? Look, every single part that you take out buys you 1 piece of experience. and that's all good. It helps go towards your next thrilling level, where that'll be good. Yeah. Thanks there, Can of WD-40. You are the real hero. Except I've noticed that obviously they haven't got the rights to use WD-40, so this is DW-40, which is an interesting one because it skirts the line between suggesting, you know what, WD-40 is an indispensable mechanics tool, and this game is doing a solid job at advertising it. Maybe the manufacturers of WD-40 would cough up a couple of quid for that, or you kind of say, well, you're using authentic brands in the game, and therefore you should pay us a license fee. We, the owners and makers of WD-40. And you go, well, surely there's a bit of quid pro quo going on in there. We both benefit from this arrangement. We get the authenticity. You get to be inferred as an indispensable piece of mechanical engineering toolkit kind of stuff. Why don't you just let us have it? But no, apparently not. No, apparently that was not a thing. I don't know, maybe they haven't got a licensing department and they decided not to chance it. But they've done the can in the same design and everything. So why on earth wouldn't you just go the whole hog? Sure, you'd have the phone call at least and go, what do you reckon there people? Guess you're in front of a generation of potential car owners of the future and car owners of the present who may well use your product in the future. And they'll think it's called DW-40. Mind you, you go into Halfords and ask for DW-40, and assuming you don't get some vacant expression 17-year-old serving you, they'll go, yeah, it's just over there. They'll know what you're talking about, even though you've got it wrong. If you get the aforementioned vacant expression 17-year-old, they'll go, I'll just have to look it up on the computer. You go, okay, yeah, all right. You go, spray. It's like a spray lubricant thing. It's for unbolting bolts and other things. They go, oh, lubricants are over there, and you're down the road with the oil, and it's not the right place, and all of that kind of behaviour. But he's only there on Saturdays, so it really isn't necessarily in his interest to learn the job any more thoroughly than that. I mean, this is not me disparaging 17-year-olds. You understand? Plenty of them are perfectly get up and go kind of people who've got ideas and notions, and who do take an active interest in things. Notice we were missing a push rod there. Are you sure you didn't pull it out already? I might have done. To be honest, I'm just telling stories now, so I've done. I'm literally paying very little attention to what's going on. I'm just having a nice time. Yeah, pull up a chair and have a story. I've got a few, as many people will attest. I've got a story or few, a story or few. Yeah. That's almost English. Right, good. We can't have far to go. Now you've got all of the flaming cams to deal with, yeah, and the madness that lies underneath your timing cover. No, this is okay. This is a simple one. This isn't too bad. Yeah. That said, learning how to tighten a fan belt. I mean, obviously this is a timing chain. It's not the same thing at all. But with the various belts you've got going on, learning how to tighten one of those, that's an important life skill. You might not use it very often, but knowing how to do it, it's like changing a tyre, right? Changing a tyre is fundamental. But until you've done it for the first time, you've never done it. Which is a good point, actually. And this is something I'm meant to do for a little while. So I was going to have an afternoon where I teach the kids how to use a jack and do that, because otherwise they'll find themselves owning a car in their mid-20s and won't have a Scooby as to what they're supposed to do. And I'll be on the other end of the phone trying to walk them through it. No, find the jacking point. How will I know it's a jacking point? Presumably the voices will have broken at that point. Well, they've broken already. They won't unbrake just because they don't know where the jacking point is. And I'm going to go, well, on that car, hang on, I'll have a look on the internet. But no, you can't beat a bit of practical experience. You kind of go, no, loosen the nuts off before you raise it up on the jack, because if they put up any kind of resistance at all and you're fighting it, you'll find that you kick the car off the jack and it lands on things, and then you can't get the jack in underneath. no, I'm not completely guiltless in this kind of regards. I had a no. It was herself took evasive action from a tractor. You should. Small English country lanes and tractors. The tractors own the place, so they go bombing around there like they mean business, because they do. And she took evasive and went through some kind of, I don't know, all I can describe it as is tyre shredding item, which shredded one of my tyres. And I went like, oh, it's okay, you're okay, you've not done no real damage to the car. It's quite difficult to wind me up about such things. You kind of go, yeah, it's a flat, it happens. I went through a period of having so many flat tyres, it wasn't even funny. No, it was. I know it wasn't flat tyres, although I got a fair few flat tyres at the same time. But I think I went through 4 windscreens in a year. And you kind of go, how's that even possible? And I go, I don't know. It would just be, a bit of debris would hit the car in the window on a routine basis. And that would be the window knackered. And I'd have auto glass out again. And they'd go, it's you again. What have you done? And I go, I don't know. I'm just driving it. And things seem to fall off the back of things and hit my car. 4 in a year. Ridiculous. Anyway, auto glass, very good at that kind of thing. No, didn't have any complaints. Obviously, only if you've got a common make and model. At the time, obviously, I had the Ford Focus, because I was driving that like I meant it. Anyway, I was talking about errors in jacking, and this happened to me just a couple of years ago, where, a tractor, evasive action. Yeah, you up to speed on the story? Well, she managed to run it. She managed to bring it back, because she was like, I don't know, under half a mile away from home. So she went like, look, rather than stop in the middle of a country lane where there's no room whatsoever, I drove it back despite the fact the tyre was knackered, thinking, well, the tyre's knackered anyway. And you're going to go, no, that's all right. That's not a big problem. Anyway, she brought it back, parked it on the drive, and me, not thinking, I start jacking the car up to change the wheel while it's on the drive, which is made of gravel. Yeah, no, let me tell you, this is a mistake you only make once, because I managed to jack it up, and then of course the gravel shifted a little bit underneath the car, and then the jack wasn't high enough for me to get the wheel off, and it also wasn't sturdy enough for me to jack it up anymore. I had to call out the AA to sort me out. Oh, did I feel like a plum? I might have said as much to Johnny AA man. I might have said, I feel like a right plum. He goes, yeah, it's okay. It happens. We all make stupid mistakes. I go like, why didn't I just wheel it off the drive, stick it on the road, perfectly good road, just outside the drive, and go from there. All right, timing. Yeah, but no. So I mean, stupidity can happen to anyone when you're not thinking. Because herself was all sad, because bit shook up by wrecking the tyre, and that's fine. Because also she kind of goes like, "Oh, Johnny, let me borrow the car, and I've ruined everything again." And I'm like, oh, "It's fine. You're all right. The car's not broken too bad. It's fine. I'll just repair the tyre." But then she got upset with me because I was idiotically trying to still jack the car up while it was collapsing. And she goes, call the AA. And I went like, no. And then it started collapsing even more, and I went, what are you doing? Call the AA. So I called the AA. This reminds me of another story, though. That's good. It explains the relationship between herself and me really rather well. And this is in a house that we lived in a couple of years ago, where we used to occupy the room at the top of the house with all of the computer gear that we'd got, and that was I think 7 PCs worth of kit. And when the kids would rock up, we'd play LAN games, right? This is one of the finest experiences you can ever have. I'd got a well, look, I worked for EA when Battlefield 1942 was made, so therefore I don't call it a slightly illegitimate copy of the game. No, I call it a bonus. Anyway, 7 of us would play Battlefield 1942 against 45 AI bad guys, and would have a rare old time. Just terrific. And what else would we play? We'd play the ship. We'd play all kinds of stuff. Anyway, this was a converted roof space, and it had those kind of roof windows that that you tilt them in order to get them to open, and wooden frame effort, but they'd go at head height, literally like my head height when they're tilted down inwards. And one time I was just going downstairs for something, and I walked full speed into one of these windows. And for those of you who are a backer of the channel, this is the locale of where my channel first got started 7 years ago. In fact, 7 years ago yesterday, when you're watching this, it's when I started the channel. Yeah, so the first place that I ever recorded a reduced, that was where I lived at the time. Anyway, I walked straight into the corner of this window, and it hurt because I swore really, really, really loudly while all the kids were in the room, and they were slightly worried. And then my head started gashing blood. I'd caught the top of my head, and my head started gashing blood, and it hurt a bit. Not a lot, just, a bit. And that's not me being a tough guy, but this is one of those, ow, that hurt a bit, rather than, holy crap, that hurt a lot. So it hurt a bit. Anyway, she went downstairs and goes, right, I'll take you to A&E. And I went, I don't want to go to A&E. He goes, no, look, just give me something to put rest on it, and it'll be grand. We won't have a problem. It'll be fine. And she goes, no, we're going to A&E. And I said, no, I don't need to go to A&E. And so I've got blood pouring down the side of my face, and classic bloke. Anyway, I wander into the kitchen. I've got kitchen towel pressed up against my head, and it's quickly becoming very, very moist indeed. Anyway, she comes back in, and she's holding the phone in one hand, and she's only gone and phoned up the NHS advice line, which is what you're supposed to do if you're not sure if you're supposed to go to A&E or not. Is you phone them up, describe what's happened, and poo. And they'll give you, I don't know what I just ruined there, but it was something. And they'll give you a bit of like, yeah, no, that sounds like you need to go to the hospital. Or they'll go, no, it's fine, put a cold towel on it. Anyway, I've done, she came in and she goes, it's not 111, it's like 112 or something like that. And she goes, I've got NHS Direct on the phone. And I went, oh, you baddie. Oh, you didn't. Oh, that's cheating. And that's why I love that woman, because she knew she wasn't going to just talk me into getting in the car without me being a sulky baby about it. And so she kind of went, I am going to overrule you, you punk. And it was a delight, because I was talking to a nurse on the other end of the phone, and I went, hello. And she goes, you've hit your head then? I went, yes. She goes, feel sick? And I go, no. She goes, is it bleeding? I went, yeah, quite a bit. She goes, you sure you're not feeling sick? And I go, no. You feeling dizzy? Nope, not even slightly. How much is it bleeding? I go, quite a lot. She goes, well, you probably ought to come in just to be on the safe side. And I went, oh, no. She goes, what's the matter? And she goes, it's just my wife playing a dirty trick on me in order to... she basically just, pulled rank. And when the NHS tell you to go do something, you go and do it, because it's the NHS. And they are to be trusted. And so you go and do as you're told. But so she's laughing, herself is laughing her face off, and I find myself in A&E. And that's the end of today's episode. There you go, close that. It's got a degree of finality to it. So in the next episode, we'll put this back together again and see if we can't make a few quid, shall we? Yeah, I think that's nice. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. If you enjoy this kind of behaviour, why not tune in? I can't tell you I've got 1,000 more stories just like it. I've got the same stories again, if you like, but that's about the scale of that. Anyway, catch you next time. Cheerio. There you go. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of a story there. Probably won't do that again, but no, see, I mean, this is why I play the game in the first place, is because it is a very... it's just a very mechanically driven, and I mean that in a game mechanically driven kind of experience, where you take something that looks rubbish and turn it into something that looks less rubbish. and gameplay progresses, you move on. It's a very satisfying experience. And then going out on junkyard raids or barn finds and that kind of stuff, occasionally something majestic turns up that you go, oh yeah, I fancy having a crack at one of those. In the last game, I started collecting GTOs simply because I could. And that was a lot of fun. Anyway, I'll be back next week with another one of these, and we'll pick up the story from there. Super duper.